evening, everyone. Welcome to the final special event of the Oxford Jurisprudence discussion for this year. Punishing for bad luck, should the consequences of a crime affect the punishment? As you probably already know, this year we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Jurisprudence Discussion Group, which was founded 10 years ago, surprisingly, in 1997 by Professor Timothy Endicott. And this is the last in a series of debate rounds that we held to celebrate the event. I would like to, before introducing the topic and our speakers, I would like to thank our sponsors, Hard Publishing and OUP, who co-sponsored this event. As you probably saw already on your way here, their books are on display, so please have a look at them on your way out. They will still be here, and have a look, and you can take forms and make a purchase from them. They also offer a 20% discount to Jurisprudence Discussion Group members. Finally, I'd like to thank the law faculty for helping us get the venue and throughout this year. When two people attempt to commit some wrong, say to kill a person, one of them succeeds and the other fails, there are many things that these two perpetrators share in common. They might have the same motivation, exercise the same effort, and act on similar intentions. There's also one notable difference between them, that is, the outcomes that each of them brought about. The problem is that the common elements, the motivation, efforts, intentions, are all things that are, or at least can be, under the control of the agent. The consequences, by contrast, seem to lie outside the scope of their control, and whatever is not within the scope of one's control is, for one, a matter of luck. Hence the title of this panel. If we want to punish the murderer more severely than his equivalent whose attempted murder failed, we seem to be punishing him for something which wasn't under his control, for his bad luck. One possibility, of course, is to bite the bullet and accept the idea that luck is part of what determines what one is responsible for, and therefore what punishment one deserves. After all, there are so many things which luck determines. Our successes and failures in love, friendship, career, and everything else that is valuable in life is determined by luck, so why should punishment be any different? But many people find this response disturbing. They think that morality should be immune from the adverse effects of luck, that the very idea of moral luck is paradoxical. If indeed the notion of moral luck is as hard to swallow as it seems to be, why don't we simply abandon it and go to the other extreme and say straightforwardly that the consequences of crime should not affect the punishment, that there is nothing to add on this matter? Well, the reason is that we have very strong intuitions, saying that someone who merely tried to kill and someone who ended up killing someone did very different things. That society doesn't look at them similarly, and more importantly, they don't perceive themselves in a similar manner. The man who tried to kill may repent and thankfully acknowledge that his malice did not cause any harm. This thought is not available to the murderer. Should he come to realize the wrongfulness of his actions, he will probably not relieve himself by ascribing the death of his victim to luck. The notion of agent regret, the argument goes, reveals a deeper moral truth than the assertion that there is no moral luck. It should be noted that allowing the consequences of a crime to affect the punishment is not the only possible way in which we punish people for their bad luck. The perpetrators of crime act on motivations that some people are lucky enough not to have. Think of a poor bank robber that, had he been rich, filthy rich, he wouldn't have any motivation at all to rob a bank. Similarly, in order to commit a crime, we need an opportunity to commit a crime. Some people have fewer opportunities than others. I mean, again, think of a judge who is quite susceptible to bribery but never gets an offer. These are only preliminary. Well, you could think of someone else who's susceptible to bribery. These are all just preliminary remarks, just to prepare the grounds for actually providing an answer to this question. And to provide the answer to this question, we're very happy to have with us our speakers tonight. We have with us Professor Andrew Ashworth, who is the Vinerian Professor of English Law at the University of Oxford and a Fellow of All Souls College. A full list of his titles and publications would take us well beyond our time schedule, so I shall only mention that he's a Fellow of the British Academy and an Honorary Queen's Counsel, and that among his well-known publications are Principles of Criminal Law, Sentencing and Criminal Justice, and Proportionate Sentencing, Exploring the Principles. We also have to have Professor John Gardner, who is a Professor of Jurisprudence at the University of Oxford and a Fellow of University College. He recently published a collection of his papers titled Offences and Defences, selected essays in the philosophy of criminal law, and edited and added a critical introduction to the new edition of HLA Hart's Punishment and Responsibility. Last but not least, Professor Gardner is the senior member of the Jurisprudence Discussion Group and a debating veteran, having participated in our panel debate on legal positivism earlier this year. Finally, we're very happy to have with us Professor Jeremy Horder. Professor Horder is a professor of criminal law at the University of Oxford and a fellow of Worcester College. He was in the past the chairman of the Oxford University Faculty of Law and recently published a book titled Excusing Crime. He's currently on leave from Oxford and holds the position of Law Commissioner for England and Wales in criminal law and evidence. So without further ado, Professor.